Coscob to Hartford. He's got your back. Come into his corner, Camillo's Corner, on AM 1400 WSTC.
Okay, Fred Camillo, we're back here with this segment of Camillo's Corner. We have a special guest, our own Caren Vizzo of Caren Cobber. Good morning, Caren.
Good morning, Fred. How are you?
Good, thank you. And how's Dad?
He is doing remarkably well, thank you. He has a big surgery, but he's a bull. He's a champ.
Oh, I know that. I've known him since I can remember anybody, and he's a fighter, and he's got a great spirit. And we were talking about him before briefly when we came on this morning. And how you walk in here and you'll see him and your mom, and then your extended family, and it feels like you're home. You know.
Yeah.
But we're looking forward to seeing him back if he's listening. If he's not, just give him our best.
I will.
Now, this week was a crazy week in Greenwich. Noah and I were talking about this. Did you see any of the police presence with the robberies and the dead bodies being found? And
so I've been reading a lot and watching the news. I've been stuck at Greenwich Hospital for the past week, so I haven't.
That may have been the safest place to be.
Exactly. But it's been a little crazy around here, and I know Greenwich Police have a good handle on everything, but it's just all in 1 week. It's been.
Well, it almost started. I was saying earlier, it almost started out a couple weeks ago where I was hiking in Bear Mountain, and I got a text from a neighbor, and she said, "What's going on?" They pulled a body out of a house up the road on Havemar Lane, and so I texted a friend on the police department who told me it's not a Greenwich resident. And no one's in danger, which is the main thing people wanted to know. But they couldn't release the details because it's still an investigation going on. And then that kicked it off. And then we had remains of a person found in Rosa Hartman Park, where I'm always walking my dog. So it's amazing. I kept thinking, God, what if I had walked there and saw that? It makes you wonder. And then last night, we were talking about these robberies, and a friend who lives up the road said, yeah, the police were in our area yesterday searching briefly because they missed his scent on the dogs picked up in our neighborhood, as well as in back of people's in Riverside, the Crescent Road area. So, and I took the opportunity then this morning to say that, always lock your doors. You never know. Just like 4 years ago with the Boston marathon bomber, when they found him that night hiding in somebody's boat in somebody's backyard. They're always looking for an escape route and an open door or window to hide out. And you never know, God forbid, if you're there, and they have a weapon, it may not end too well. So keep those doors and windows locked and stay off of social media announcing to the world that you're on vacation.
Right, exactly. I'm the biggest culprit of not doing those, taking those safety precautions. However, I grew up in Coscob. Who needs to lock their doors? We opened a window and shouted out the window to our neighbors, and that's how we grew up.
Yeah, back then, Coscob, it may sound like we're romanticizing it, but it was true. We would be playing baseball down Bible Street at 4:30 in the afternoon. If we saw if somebody broke into somebody's house because it was open, the neighbors would have got to them before the police.
Right.
And it would have been like a community justice. So, while we're not allowed to advocate for that, there were a lot of eyes and ears back then. And people, it's like the old story, the example I give of a town called Kennesaw, Georgia, where a friend of mine moved about 20 years ago or more. And he went 25 years ago, actually. And in 1982, they passed an ordinance. This is a town just north of Atlanta that said if you live here, you have to own a gun. Renting an apartment, owning a big mansion, didn't matter. Could be a studio, didn't matter. You need to have a gun. And within a year, they had the lowest crime rate in the country. And the surrounding towns were upset because their crime rates went up a little bit. Because if you're going to rob a house, why would you go to a town where everybody has a gun? So that's one thing. If you have a gun, licensed, and you're responsible with it, that's a good way to protect yourself. I always prefer a dog, a German Shepherd maybe, and sensor lights. but you have to have something. And, of course, locking your doors because, again, people, we've had a lot of, petty robberies in Greenwich in the last couple of years, especially when the economy went bad. People looked at a town like Greenwich saying, well, everybody who lives there must have a lot of money, which is obviously not the case. But, it's something to keep in mind. And you have to use these unfortunate instances as an example. And that, a reminder that, hey, we got to be careful.
Yeah. And what is that slogan? If you see something, say something.
Yeah. And I think we have neighborhood e-blasts now. So like in Havemeyer Park, where I live, they'll send out emails all the time if there's suspicious activity. Mm-hmm. The Riverside Association excuse me, is a great resource for keeping people up to date. Roseanne Benedict, the president, and the presidents, John Howland before them, would always send out an email saying, hey, these are community events. But even something like this, she sent out an update from the Greenwich Police on Twitter and took a screenshot of it saying that there's no danger in Greenwich now. He has moved on. They've located him in Pennsylvania. If you have a neighborhood association, if you don't have a neighborhood association, create one.
Right. That's a great idea.
But your point is well taken about growing up in a different era, and again, Coscob was emblematic of that. It was a different time, and everybody watched out. And if you did something wrong on the street, your parents usually found out about it because someone told them.
Absolutely, like your big brother.
Your big brother, yeah, exactly. Your cousins.
Yes. Yes.
Or Karen grew up, she had cousins in a few places on both sides of her and across the street. So I really feel bad for you because,
Oh, yes. There was nothing. I didn't get away with anything, unfortunately. But you know what? I think I turned out okay.
Yeah, you did. I'll give you that. You certainly did, and as did your two brothers, Stephen and Billy, two great friends. And we all grew up together, and growing up in Coscob, it was like a family.
Yeah.
Everybody was like family, and that remains today. It remains so today. As the world changes around us, I think Coscob stays the same for the most part.
It does. The story about Anthony Capalbo and his son, and we've been selling T-shirts and kind of raising money to help him with his cancer fight.
I just saw one over. I'm going to get one. I just saw one over in the
so they're having a big fundraiser today at Wonderland Device in Bridgeport for him. But anyway, Anthony grew up as a neighbor to us, and
great.
So we just kind of rallied around, and that's what we do.
Glad you brought that up. When you come to Karen's Coscober, it looks like it's a pretty nice looking shirt too. Grab one, and you'll get a nice shirt, but you're also going to be supporting a great cause and a great family. The Capalbo family is, I don't think there are any bad bones in their bodies. They're always very, very sweet people and good community citizens. So remember, when you come to the Coscover. Okay, we're going to take a break. Caren, thank you for stopping by this morning.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you after the show.
All right. Have a great day.
You too. We'll be back in a few moments.